Hello, my wonderful learners. Trust you're all doing well. Good day to you all. My name is Mr. Victor Eshemogi, and welcome you all again to another episode of our lessons in cultural and creative arts. Right here today, we'll be looking at the introduction to drawing. Introduction to drawing. So here we'll be understanding shapes and forms in drawing and how we can now apply them to our drawing or apply them when we are drawing. That is learning to draw with them. Okay, alright, let's start with the meaning of drawing. The meaning of drawing. Drawing is the act of making pictures using lines, shapes, and shading using lines, shapes, and shading. It helps us express our ideas, tell stories, and create art. Express your ideas, what you have in your mind to say. Just you can express them in drawing. You can also use drawing to tell stories, like the comic, and create art. Just be creative about something beautiful. That is what drawing is, and that is what it helps us to. Okay, drawing is the act of making pictures using lines. Definitely, we use lines, we use shapes, and also use shading to make it unique. Right now, we'll be looking at the importance of drawing. The importance of drawing. Drawing is actually important because it one develops creativity. It develops the creativity of one. Then two, it helps us express ideas clearly. It helps us express ideas clearly. Three, it improves observation and concentration. Definitely, you have to be concentrating when you are drawing. Observe your environment and concentrate on it. Then four, forms and foundations for other arts. Forms and foundations for. So having gone through the importance of drawing, we're looking at the materials and tools for drawing. Materials and tools for drawing. What are these materials we use in drawing? And I'll tell you, we have a lot of materials when it comes to drawing, a lot of tools when it comes to drawing. Okay, now the common tools include the pencil, the eraser, the ruler, sharpener, paper, or sketch pad. And there's a slight difference between materials and tools. The tools is what we use on the materials, while the materials are those things we use that we use to create the artwork. But the tools are what we use on those materials. Okay. Now those tools are the pencil. We use them to draw. We erase errors on our drawing sketch pads. Then ruler, the sharpener, the paper, or the sketch pad. Now these are the major materials and tools. It's a mixture. So like the number five here, the paper or sketch pad is actually the material because that's what we draw on. Okay, and every other thing you believe you feel that we make use of our tools on those. Take note of it that those are the materials and these are. So here we are looking at lines in drawing. Lines in drawing, we have different lines and how they are actually being used. So probably when you take a look at these lines in drawing, you should be able to understand the patterns or the ways which we've been using it, but we've not known that these are the lines we have been using and these are the ways we have been making use of it. Now, lines are the starting point of every drawing. Definitely, even when you're writing, you must make use of lines in case you don't know. As long as you start with a dot, then it goes down continuously. Let me just put it as a continuous use of a dotted line or something like that. But let me just let you understand that line is something once you start it, it is a line, whether straight, curved, or bent line. It is actually a line, definitely a line. Okay, lines are the starting point of every drawing. So we will be looking at the types of lines. The types of lines. We have the straight line, which we definitely know. The straight line. We have the curved line. The curved line is the one we can see the blue cord, that charger cord you can see there. That is a curved line. Okay, that curved line can help you form any object that is round, or can help you form a round object, curved line. And we have the zigzag line that's in the form of capital letter M, the zigzag going up and down continuously like your zip or something like that. Then we have the thick line on the screen, which you can see. The thick line, you have those ropes there, the picture of the ropes on the screen. The thick line. Then you have the thin line as well. That is how the lines can be thin and also thick. That's the difference. One will be bigger, the fatter than the other. That is thick and thin. All right. Then we have the broken lines, like the dashes we use. Dash, not dots now. Those dash. Draw a small dash, give spaces. Like the broken lines you can see. Most especially the one we see most times on our road that demarcates the road. You definitely see the broken lines there. Those are broken white lines on the road that demarcates them. Then you have the dotted lines, the dots lines which you see dots like that. So these are the types of lines we can say. Okay, then the wavy line is also on the screen, what we can see there. That's for number 4. I skip that wavy line. Okay, so these are the major types of lines which we definitely use in drawing. These are the lines we use in drawing. The one thing is learning how to draw. Another thing is also knowing the kind of lines you are using to draw, identifying the types of lines you're using to draw. So I'm sure with these 8 types of lines I've shown you today, you should be able to understand whenever you're drawing, you should be able to identify each of the lines you're using. Shapes in drawing, shapes is drawing with what we're looking at now. Shapes are flat 2D forms made with lines. Like I said earlier, lines are dots that extends to form something straight, bent, curvy, or something. Just a line. You make use of lines in anything we are drawing. So shapes are flat 2D forms made with lines. Examples, we have the circle, okay, at the circle, the square, the rectangle, the triangle. Now, all these are shapes. When I mean 2D, two-dimensional artwork or two-dimension, that's 2D. Whenever you hear of that, anything that is on a flat surface is known to be the 2D. Okay, it cannot be felt round. All right, it can't be felt round. Okay, it does not have depth. Yeah, it does not have depth. It does not have it has height. Yeah, no depth in it. No form. It's just a flat um face. Okay, just like your picture frames, those are in 2D forms. Your picture frames, your portraits, those are in 2D forms. Okay, so that's what we're looking at now, the shapes. Then let's move on to the forms in drawing. Forms. Sure. After looking at these shapes and forms in drawing, the shapes in drawing and the forms in drawing, you should be able to differentiate between the shapes and the forms. Now, forms are 3D shapes that have height, width, and depth. That has height, width, and depth. Now, examples are the sphere from circle, the cube from the square, and the cone from the triangle. So all these are kind of, let me just, okay, these are the 3D shape, three-dimensional shapes that you can feel around. You can hold it and feel it round like a ball. Okay, the sphere, like a cube of sugar, Then you have the cone that you usually put on your head, or your ice cream cone. Those things that you feel around. You can't put a triangle on your head because it's just one plane shape. Okay, they are called known to be the plane shape, right? Why these are the three-dimensional shapes. These are the solid shape. Why those shapes we looked at earlier are the plane shapes. These are solid shapes. That's what we know to be forms. The three-dimensional shapes are known to be the solid shapes. Shapes that you can feel around, you can always hold and carry happily, and you know just like to understand that you can actually use shapes to draw. And in fact, we are majorly using shapes to draw, but you won't know that we use shapes to draw. We use the circle, triangle, the square, the rectangle, different shapes. We apply them to our drawings. Now you can use shapes to draw real objects like the circle and the rectangle to make a balloon or to bring out the picture of a balloon. You know what a balloon is? One that floats in the air to carry people around. That is the balloon I'm talking about. Then the square and the triangle to make a house, to make a picture of a house. The triangle, basically, if you look at the picture here now, you see that we have majorly used the major, should I say, the first four um, shapes, the first four shapes that are very easy to remember. We've made use of it to make a house. Okay, you have the circle there, you have the triangle, you have the rectangle, and you have the square. They are all there. If you want to identify them, you can always identify the rectangle as the door and also the building. You can see the square as the windows, then the two windows beside each other. Then you can see the circle, small dots there. Then you can also have the triangle as the roof. You can also make use of a trapezium. Good. You can try and see trapezium, parallelogram. Those are shapes you can use to make the house look very nice. Okay, so you use shapes to draw. Here is a simple practice drawing. Now that I will urge you all to participate in, I want you all to just pick up a pencil. Do not be scared of making mistakes, first of all. Just pick up a pencil, make up your mind that you want to draw something, no matter what or how ugly it might look at the first time. But this saying that practice makes perfect. So you keep drawing and keep drawing. Trust me, you're going to get there. All right. And when time you draw, do not tear off the paper or do not throw the paper away. Just indicate, put your date there, even if it's a mistake, put your date on it, and it will always remind you for future references that wow, this was how I started. If you don't really know how to draw, you just like wow, this was where I started from. In future, when you already know how to draw, you can be able to now like wow, I really started. This was my first time drawing, or I started drawing like this. Now, why not you take your time to start drawing a tree with a shape, or you draw a car using a shape. You can actually make use of triangle, not a triangle now for the car, a rectangle, a square, and circles. Okay, you can make use of these three shapes, these three good shapes: a rectangle, a square, and a circle. Then probably a right angle triangle. Yes. Okay. Don't worry, you'll be able to understand that when you start practicing it. You can meet someone around you to help you make use of this to draw a cat. Then a cat as well. You can also use shapes to draw cats. Then a house, just like the illustration I showed you a few minutes of. For those of you that have always been following my videos so far, you already understand that I always make this important. It is important that I make a practice time for all of us to actually understand our level of for me to get feedbacks from you, or for you to actually arouse your knowledge, to arouse your level of understanding in this on each of my videos. Okay. Now for this video, number one question you should ask yourself, if you actually do understand what I'll be talking about since, or you need more insight, you can always go ahead to look for more meanings to drawing. But one question is, what is drawing? What is drawing? Let me tell you something. Drawing does not really mean only drawing on paper or just making sketch of something. There are a lot of meanings to drawing which you can go and find out. And number two is mention three drawing materials you know. Three drawing materials you know. Then what is the difference between a shape and a form? The difference between a shape and a form. If we're paying attention closely, I made a very big difference to it. Yes. Then the fourth question is give two examples of shapes. Two examples of shapes, quite easy. Then the fifth one is draw one object using at least two shapes. The least you should use is two shapes, but just draw one object that at least you're using making use of two shapes. So maybe you decide to draw an object that has like five shapes, six shapes. Never can tell how many shapes you are really good at using when you're drawing. Okay, but at least make use of two shapes. Okay, and I showed you one example of making use of two shapes to draw an object. Okay, guys, right. If you're still here with me, I'm sure you enjoyed your time here with me on the introduction to drawing, where you learned a lot the meaning of drawing first off, and why it is important. Then also checked on the materials and tools in drawing, the lines, in drawing the shapes, in drawing forms, in drawing with shapes as well. So I'm sure you learned a lot today. You learned a lot today. So thank you so much for being part of this lesson, and I look forward to seeing you in our next class. Have a wonderful day and week ahead.